Good morning, good morning, good morning. Um, Today I'm looking over PLRX. Um, I should have woke up early yesterday to trade this stock. It had a very high short growth of, let me actually look it up right now. It had a very high short growth of about 34%. Um, So yeah, it was definitely a really good stock at the time. Uh, Yesterday it had a 157% move, and I was wondering, you know, why is this? And then I kind of looked at the bigger picture. It's definitely, um, it's definitely just a short squeeze, and this is kind of just the one of the final squeezes. So I expect for it to potentially go up to potentially these next few levels. I'm going to draw some consolidation ranges in between these levels. Um, each yellow line represents the median range of where I personally believe that the next consolidation range would take place. So this kind of has to do with more of a mathematical standpoint, um, based off support and resistance. So I'm kind of going uh, based off that. Um, so I'm trying to figure out, where's the medium range, where's the medium trading range for a lot of these traded stocks, and it's becoming kind of a lot harder to figure this stuff out, due to the lack of time. So I've only looked at one stock today, which is PLRX. I've drawn all of my support and resistance lines for possible barriers that this stock would have to breach, as well as possible support that it would have to breach for it to go anywhere. So, which of course is virtually these two trading ranges, uh, which is of course these trading ranges. So my objective, of course, is to figure out where it's going and how it's going there. So what I like to do is, of course, take out each and every wave and kind of break it down and figure out, okay, what's the medium range, what's the high of that range. I did not do it for support, however, which I probably should have now that I'm looking at it. Because if you look at this, I mean, it literally lines up for, it literally lines up down here for an average support. So it just really amazes me how much support and resistance plays a massive role in trading. Everything is kind of just making sense in a way. And now I'm just trying to figure out, okay, what's the average range? Where is it going? So that's what I'm doing right now. It looks like with these dojis right here in this little consolidation range, that would be the median input. So I imagine that the next wave, if there was going to be a support wave, it would fall back right here. Not right there. It would actually fall back right here. This should be blue. Sorry, that should be blue. Not. It should be yellow here, but it should be blue here. That makes sense. I wish I could have both, but I can't, because that acts as support. And this line right here should act as a median range. So that's what I'm kind of going based off of. It's just support and resistance, but I'm also acknowledging, factors like support. There's just all these different fundamental factors that play such a massive role in just how the overall market works. So that's currently where I'm lying in terms of my theories on support and resistance. It's kind of just following these little wannabe trend lines. So red represents support, of course. Blue represents resistance. Although I wish this blue section right here represented a median range, and this should actually represent. It should be resistance here, then a median range here, and support past. That would be really cool if I could implement that. 3 colors in 1 bar. That would be amazing. I'm sorry, a little bit hot. But yeah, I've been looking into kind of more of an algorithmic approach when it comes to trading, and that algorithmic approach isn't actually called algorithmic. Any sort of algorithms, it's actually just straight up quantum physics. I mean, that's all it is at the end of the day. It's just quantitative algo trading. That's all what day trading is, and that's essentially all I'm following. It's just these bigger fish who kind of have an automated program set up for day trading, despite this being a retail ran sector of the market. Now that's not a bad thing. I know that 50 years from now, retail traders will still exist here, and you can still make it as a retail trader, just going based off the same fundamentals that have existed in the market since, beginning of time. And that is support and resistance, trend lines, wave theory, just all these different really basic stuff that the market exists with. So I'm not, in terms of my job lasting, if I were to do day trading forever, I'm not worried about my job being disappeared by a bunch of bots, like 20 years from now, because it's simply, this is a two-sided system. There's always going to be bots that want to go short, and there's always going to be bots that want to go long. And my job is to just interpret which side is long, which side has the upper edge, and I'm just going with it. That's all this is. That's all the you. I don't know why I put you in mine. Yeah, wait, what? What? 712, okay, where am I? This is 712, right? 710, 7. Yeah, it's 712, wait, what? Okay, VS, you're kind of weird. You got a little blip out of nowhere, but I'm not really expecting that to be anything. What about HSTO? Okay, it broke through that support. Geo. Oh, wow. Okay. That's actually really interesting. Geo. Okay. What about AVTX? No. Oops, not signaling. AVTX. Yeah, you kind of just fell right below that trading range. Isaac, nothing. UC is probably going to bounce at some point, so I'll keep you on my watch list. IINN has been stable. Look at that. It bleeped up, and then look at that. Just those spikes. So I will keep that in. Rev, probably not. Might go for a second run, but I kind of doubt it. Okay, now. Yeah, let's go to Geove now. Windows module installer, please. Please stop activating every morning. Alright, so now let's go over Geove. Geove, oops. Geove. Oh, Geoev. My apologies. So let's go over this. Let's look into this. So let's make a little support right here. Wow, that is a lot of trading. Just, oh my gosh, that's wonderful. All right. So we've got the high of the day. Now let's find the medium trading range, which kind of looks like it's right here for this one wave, which actually looks like it just kind of is going to be some support right here. So, okay. So that's going to act more as a, I want to say that would be a potential median range. I'm not entirely sure. I will make this be a more of a support factor right here, and make this more of a resistance factor right here. I need to start waking up earlier. Gotta wake up earlier. Alright, so anyway, so that's going to add more of a support factor, which I never really looked into. Now you got this little narrow trading range right here. So I will draw this right here as more of a support factor. Oh yeah, I've been reading a lot lately, like usual, and I can confirm that a lot of day traders, or at least one day trader I was looking at, who of course has a career in the market, told me something kind of interesting that I know a lot of traders tend to overlook, and that is every single candlestick you ever come across will tell you vital information about the potentials about that stock. And the more and more I look into that, the more and more I realize, that is probably one of the most accurate things I've ever read. Because it's just so amazing how accurate that is. Okay, I've got 2 minutes left on the clock. I need to start getting my share size in order. Do I have... Is this... Okay, I do have upper... I should actually set one for right here. I actually will do that because that is a gap. So... Yeah, I'll set one right there. That is a gap. That is a gap. Alright, so it looks like Geove. I guess those are going to be the two main stocks I'm looking at, which is Geove and PLRX. PRLRX specifically because of the short squeeze. Looking like a bunch of algorithmic trading right here. So probably some potential market manipulation. Right here with PSTH, so I'm not really looking into that. That's definitely not algorithmic game. So yes, algorithmics, or that's what I like to call it. It should be actually called quantitative. Now that I know the actual proper term. Oh, look at that. My little support line acted as a resistance point. So I mean, you tell me if these support and resistance lines work, because in my opinion, I haven't found anything that's more accurate. Now I'm just taking like the medium range of everything and just kind of plotting it. But that's all I'm kind of like doing, which is really like interesting. Okay, so that's gonna act as a support. All right, so market just opened and Geove is going off at 470. So 470, 1K. I'll wait about a minute. I know I kind of should be getting over this at this point. Wow, Geove is up 100% already, and I don't like that. I have a bad history of Um, I have a very bad history of going to stocks that have shot up way too much, way too quickly already, and you know, things that shoot up too quickly already, they're bound to just kind of pull back. So I do want to bear that in mind. I know me drawing all these lines is really crazy, but I'm really trying to think more like I guess I'd call it more of a algorithmic perspective when it comes to day trading. So look at that, it's bouncing off the support, it barely breached it, so now it's going to go to the 20 MA. And again, all these support and resistance barriers, you kind of have to do a little bit of, I guess I would call it micro math. And with this little micro math, you kind of have to determine, you know, what are the odds if it goes to the support? What are the odds that will keep going down if it goes to the 20 MA? What are the odds? You are on the sideline debating the winning percentage rate based upon, you know, the volume, the trades going on. Just kind of what's the percentage rate do you think it'll go to potentially surpass or get to this point of, you know, surpassing these levels? So this looks very, very bullish, which is very nice. I do like that a lot. I don't want to put 1K down. Let's put 500. Looking very nice and bullish. I just don't like how much it shot down. PLRX looks like it's getting hurt quite a bit. Still staying in that trading range. If it goes past 21.35, I'll have to end up kind of looking elsewhere. BS looks weird. I don't like it. You know, Geo, man. Geo. This thing might be going up all day. 1, 2, 3. But it could also be, you know, dead after that third wave. Something else I do want to mention is I do want to get into pre-market trading. The biggest moves of the day are pre-market, and it always tends to happen between, you know, 3 a.m. to about 4 a.m. And I know that there's no halts that exist during that time, so theoretically there's nothing stopping you. Look at this, it's kind of like a little trend right here. You see that little trend? That's breaking off, and it's kind of got this wedge. So that tells you this thing's gonna, okay, I'll draw that. It seems basic, and it seems too stupid to be true, but a lot of these trend lines are, I don't know why, they work. Oh wow, look at that, yeah, it broke through that little trend line. So, as much as I shouldn't really be doing this, I'm going to. Okay, it's still going. Now it's going to form kind of more of a fourth to fifth wave. I should have held on to that a little bit longer. But if you notice, the waves are, wow, this one's actually going pretty far up there. So I do take that back. I was going to say these waves are actually getting smaller, but this one, we'll see. We'll see. I want to say it'll get smaller, but at the same time, this is the open market. So, you know, more buying power. I mean, look at this. 12 million? Like, come on. That's nuts. So, let's figure out together where this thing is going. Why did it stop at 492? Why did it stop at 492? It looks like that's somewhat the medium range. Because if you look at a 4-hour chart of where 492, actually no, it should be like this. If you look at, Okay, now it seems more like support. Because if I were to go way over here, it acts more as a support barrier than anything. So, really, really, really interesting how all of this works. Volume's gradually getting higher. Got about probably 12 seconds left on the clock right now, so we'll see how it opens on the next candlestick. I should have held on. Again, emotions is holding me back. If I'm gonna make in this field, I have to think like a bot. So, eliminate all emotions from my being and kind of just pull through my trading plan. If I were to hold on at 472, I would still be golding even if this thing pulled back hard. And look at that, it's going to break through 495 potentially. Narrow trading range right here. Oh. So we're just watching for them breaking through 495. As soon as they hit 496, this thing's going to potentially go for another run. So 493, 493, 494. Nothing about 496. There's 495 right here on level 2, but nothing about 496. Look at that. 491, 492, 493, 491, 492. Nothing on here about 496. So it kind of looks like they're starting to teeter off. So it seems like it may have formed a pennant flag right here. So let's see how low this will go. So it broke through that support right here. It never did go below 42. Oh, it just did. That could be a false breakout though. If this stock is really bullish. Sorry, it's getting cold. I can't put it on this. Okay. Yeah, so this is definitely bearish right now, but definitely interesting to watch because it kind of tells you where it's potentially going. And I've noticed a lot of moves once the market opens are really, really just small. You look at pre-market, you look at every single pre-market stock, at least on, the biggest gainers percentage. And all these will kind of show you the same exact thing. And that is that, Geo, TH, WRPT, all the biggest moves are literally pre-market. Oh, wow. AFRM is going for a nice little launch. So everything looks like it's kind of running out. I guess it's actually, I take it back. What was it? AFRM is nothing special. It's just the market. I mean, look at DJI, and then look at everything that's ran up. So yeah, it's just the market. It's just running with the market. So nothing special. Nothing special at all. Let's put this back up here. I wish there was a way that I could share my top screen. If there was some way that I could just instantly toggle that would be absolutely amazing. So again, this is kind of where that 3-5 wave theory comes into play. So it could go for a 5th wave, but that's honestly a gamble. Nothing really backing that up. Nothing backing up the theory of it going for a potential 5th wave. So, or a 5th run. However, if it passes 595, it could be very big. So I may actually end up putting something for 598. But I do want to watch out for those, false breakthroughs of, the high of the day. Because if it breaks through, you're betting that it's going to go a lot higher. So you do want to bear that in mind. I know I love talking, and I kind of don't have a lot to show for it based upon my history. So let's see, a natural resistance of $5, of course. Will it go higher? 48 on the time it sails. This probably will be a decent sell-off right here. Yeah. I kind of think the trend is overall dead. That's it. That's it for day trading. It seems like the trend is dead for Geode, in my opinion. Because the narrow trading range, especially in the 5-minute, you got a little hammerhead right here. That's very, very bearish. So, yeah, it kind of looks like Geode is already dead. So, those are your waves. Those are your potential consolidation ranges. And maybe intraday, it might try and approach these different levels, but overall, I think the stock is actually rather dead at this point. It's only 6:42, which is kind of amazing. You want to have maybe 5 minutes of play, 10 minutes of play sometimes when it comes to the stocks. And that's something I really hate about day trading, is that it's not always accurate in terms of a time-based preference, if that makes sense. Some days you'll have things to where it launches, 100% intraday, and those things are beautiful for day traders. But for momentum traders, especially in the morning, you've got such a narrow trading window in terms of time. You have to be so aggressive with that 5-minute open range breakout if you really actually want to see any moves of your account. So that's why I really am kind of really interested in pre-market. You get this 100% moves, 50% moves intraday. Or I'm sorry, pre-market. I mean, look at this. Come on, I know this was algorithmic in every sense of the book, because it's immediately within the first, again, this is the 13 hours is 1 a.m., which is when pre-market opens for Pacific Standard Time, which is where I'm at. As soon as that opened, it immediately bought that thing up immediately. So you're kind of just riding where these bots are kind of going. So if there's a way to where I could figure out where these bots are kind of going to, which in my opinion, I think there most definitely is a way. Okay, I think there's most definitely a way to do it, but it's hard to do, and that's something I actually do have to focus on today, is which I did remind myself. I'm trying to make a pre-market scanner for trade ideas. I've noticed that when it comes to trade ideas, at least with my current scan settings, everything will be blank until 6:30. I won't have any headwind of stocks that are moving prior to 6:30, which really, really sucks, and that has screwed me over. And I've lost money because of that. Like last year when I was trading on my real account, especially when it came to halts that were forming. If I could have had the upper advantage of potentially plotting out, you know, different potential levels or different potential factors of where these stocks might be going, that could be a very good incentive for a person like me to, get into. What am I trying to say? I completely had a brain fart. I completely had a brain fart. Um, yeah, I don't know what I was saying, but yeah, that's something I do want to. Okay, narrow trading range. Should have bought in on that first pullback if I was going to do anything. Um, this is kind of like a fool's gold virtually is halted stocks, but which I used to love, and I still do, because there's a unique anatomy that comes behind it. People usually buy back on that pullback, wait for it to sometimes reach to that VWAP, and then they'll buy in, and they'll pull back. But if it breaks through like this, could be trouble. So, yeah, it just keeps going lower, so you don't want to do anything like that here. Yeah, just really, really, really interesting how this whole thing just works, and how trading just, I don't know, it feels more like a language that makes sense. I feel like more, I feel like it's, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of when I was doing programming. It feels like I'm learning a language. Really weird. But I've never had anything make more sense to me in my life. I mean, look at this. Resistance number 2, like literally on the spot. I'm sorry, a cent difference is where this thing pulled back to. So, I mean, you can totally create an algorithmic setup towards where each and every one of these candlesticks or these potential waves can go to. Now, if you were to put the Fibonacci rule or the Fibonacci sequence, I don't really have a doubt that this thing would potentially go for a second wave. However, I don't know anything about the news, so I mean, of course, you have to put that into perspective. But, oops, wrong one. Here, there we go. This one right here. GLSI, as you can see. So let's just test my theory. So GLSI supplies 50 million to the U.S. FDA lifts hold on Greenwich cancer immunotherapy trial. So it lifted the hold. That's really bullish for the stock. So now let's test the theory. Is it going to go for a second run? Let's first see if it'll break through the trend. It needs to go past that VWAP. To see if it passes it. Let's see their income, however. So GLSI, decent income. Position in the range isn't really too great. So that's kind of something you do have to keep in mind. The average trading range, the dark pool is what, about 3 5-cent difference. So let's see where this goes, because now it did break through that 9 MA, so now I am a little bit sketched. I would go for a second run. Because remember, it blipped up once here. I don't know if I'd call this a blip or not, or a wave. And then did it again right here. So I'd expect for it to go for a third one, just strictly based off the Fibonacci rule. So let's see, This is kind of more of a every day I learn something on the market, so let's just test my theory. Okay, lots of very, very bullish right there. As soon as you kind of break through that trend line, that's definitely a kind of a buy signal for a lot of trades. I definitely do have to watch my share size. I should actually lower it to 75, but unfortunately I don't have a quick button to where I could get in, get out rather easily. I should actually make a stop loss of 1182 or 1180. That would be rather smart. So where would be the profit target? Profit target, I would say, is probably 1360 minimum, and then 1429 if you're feeling more of a gamble. So I would sell half at 1360 if it were to, of course, breach past that VWAP. It's showing signs that it wants to. It's showing signs that it wants to. But it's also showing signs that it wants to go lower too, so it's a two-sided system. So let's see, It never did break through 1259. So that is very intuitive of this, which I actually just noticed. What is this? So 1260 and 1259. I don't really consider like a 1 or 2 cent breakout or a 3 cent move to be too big of a breakout. That doesn't tell me anything. That just tells me, oh, someone bought at the top or something like that. So I can't really go based off those 2, 3%, 5% little spreads when it comes to that wick. But it looks like it's handling pretty well. However, if you look at this, bearish, bullish, bearish and bullish, bearish, bullish, doji. So right here is where I expect for it to potentially, after this point, I think it may go for another run. After this specific candlestick right here, this is where if I were to buy in, or if I were to go short or long, it would be right around here. Right around here. Because of how slow and narrow everything is. So, let's see. Looking bearish. Looking very bearish at the moment. But still not falling below, $12 as a natural support. I got sweats on, so I am a little bit hot. Sweats plus caffeine in my system don't really mix too well. So it's going for another run. Run for the VWAP, which is kind of an understanding response. Opened higher, so that's actually pretty bullish, to be honest. Well, let's give it some space. Again, I need confirmation above virtually 1260 at this point. Let's see, are there any buyers at 1260? No buyers. Are there any bulls or bears over here? There is some at $12. Very interesting. Okay. All right, look at that. That's kind of moving a little bit quickly right there. About 10 seconds left, so it looks like it's gradually going up. So this could be a very good chance. And once this new candlestick opens up, yeah, this could be a very good chance. Remember, this halted stocks are more like a gamble. To me, this is more gambling yeah, sure, you've got all these different little technicals that you can kind of go based off of, but at the end of the day, it's all halted stocks is literally, um, in my opinion, just straight up Vegas. Oh wow! Look at that! Look. You can't tell me that's not somehow. You can't tell me that's not correlated to this. There's no way you can't tell me that's correlated to this. So, you tell me. Do you think that's? Do you think that this spike right here is correlated at all to what I'm talking about? Like, just ask yourself. Do you think it's somehow correlated? So, very, very, very cool how the more and more like I test this theory, test this hypothesis, the more and more I realize it's so accurate, so weird. It's like, I know this is kind of just one small piece of a larger puzzle that I will try to unlock in the future. But it's just so amazing how my theory could be backed up through real-time results or delayed results because of course this is simulated trading. But regardless, I guess real-time delayed by like 3 seconds, a second, or paper trading likes to say they're actually accurate for it being like a. They like to claim that they're accurate for real time, which I think is a bunch of bull crap. They're definitely not accurate for real time. I don't know. See, there we go. There we go. There's that doji, and there we go. So that's not really. It's still going. It's still pulling back. It just went to that 20 MA, so I do want to bear that in mind. Nothing. This would be a kind of a decent buying opportunity right here for potentially a quick 40 cents. But nah, not worth the risk. Not worth the risk in a sharp downward trend. I know day traders, they're supposed to, yeah, maybe I was wrong. Day traders are supposed to buying right here, or at least scalpers. They love buying when it reaches past, these EMAs. I keep calling EMAs the moving average exponential. I call it exponential moving average. I don't know why Thinkorswim does that, but yeah, they love to bypass these EMAs, especially, the further down it goes, the more of an incentive it is for pulling back up. Because again, it's kind of like a rubber band. If you shoot past this too much, you got to shoot back up. It's just how it is. That's just how the market works. So, just really, really interesting. So let's see where this goes. I'm still in the gambling game, but I still do think that this could potentially go for a second run. However, it definitely needs to, again, at this point, it would kind of need to go past 1201 for it to do anything. But I'm the type of guy that needs confirmation, especially for trading halts. Trading halts is like the riskiest style of trading I've ever done in my life because of just how volatile due to the low liquidity. So, you really, 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 really have to be up on your toes at all times and being the most alert you've ever been when it comes to trading halts, because things move fast, and when they move fast, they leave without you, and they could wipe out half your account if you're not careful. Thankfully, I've never had that happen, but I've always had the opposite. So let's yeah. So at this point, it's kind of a dead stock. At this point, it breached past that 20 MA, and there's nothing really holding it back for going lower. So unless this acts as a final support and bounces back, unless this acts like a final support and bounces back, but I'm not gonna really see much of that, no am I. You know, it's funny. If you look at a lot of videos, I will say where I think the top is, and I don't know if this is accurate, but I do feel as though I'm accurate most of the time when I say that. I don't know. So if I were to do a short position, you know, right when I think that range is kind of met, I feel as though that would really benefit me. But hey, I'm a guy that usually goes long, but when it comes to day trading, you kind of want to be an ambidextrous when it comes to doing both. So if you really want to make, that's where the big money is kind of just being ambidextrous with both, but you just can't get caught on the wrong side of the tracks when it comes to shorting. So, because as soon as you do, you know, you're for your account, but it could also be one of the biggest moves for your account. So, you know, it's a double-edged sword, but ultimately, I do feel as though there's more pros and cons to it. Again, consecutive trading range. Alright, now it's dead. I mean, yeah, look at that. Again, I said $5 is that natural resistance point and shot. Look at that, like, come on. KSBN, how are you doing? KSBN got halted. I'm just going to put that up just so I could learn. KSBN 1830. Nothing really too special in terms of. Okay. This is more. I don't know how I feel about this. This is. Everything past kind of this year shouldn't really act as. Wow, this is an interesting halt. Look how stable this was. Look how stable okay, this is actually an interesting stock. I will not deny that. This is rather an interesting stock. Just strictly off but wow, okay, I'm actually wow, okay. What? Okay. And where it got halted was its support point. No, I'm sorry, it got halted at, I actually don't know. It resumed at 790. So I imagine it got halted probably down here at 764. And then got back to 754, which is where it, where the, oops, sorry. Where the, oops, there we go. Where the resistance point was. Yeah, okay, yeah, okay. Okay. I'm making sense. I think I am. Okay. Alright, so very, very interesting. The reason why I'm so into the market is because it's literally just a puzzle, and you're just connecting all these different pieces. Yeah, sure, you'll never have 100% accuracy, but you could go based off these small little puzzle pieces to give you more of a potential better understanding of where the price would go. Because everyone and their brother is kind of trying to solve the same puzzle. So you're going just based on that. So you're kind of thinking with them. You know, where do if they're all thinking the same thing, in theory, you know, what's kind of holding you back towards making that move at the end of the day? Lots of consecutive upward candles. So, oh wow, look at the float. 1.12 million, short growth, 134. Wow. This could be the play of the day. This could be the stock of the day. It's approaching, we already approached 30 minutes onto the hour, so it could go for another 15 minutes to another 30 minutes. That's if this is really got momentum, you know. Short squeezes kind of last for maybe this in theory should be a smaller bump than this one. It should be a smaller wave than this, in theory. I love it how even pre-market, look at this. If I just put this here, I mean, like, come on. You can't tell me that's not related. Like, maybe it's not super accurate because of the wicks, but it does give you a median range where that consolidation range is. Okay, this might go for another run right here. Right here. Gotta be very careful though, not to get squeezed out. Yeah, I have a crappy day. I only made 25 bucks, but I've learned stuff, so I ultimately think it's actually a very good bullish day. It's just based upon me learning something. And look at that, it's potentially, if it breaks through 850, you know that there's not a lot holding it back. No one really kind of holding out like 451 or anything like that. No one kind of like buying in there. So you do have to bear that in mind. It could just be like the GLSI, where it has that little narrow trading range right here and then dies off. So it could do the same thing, which I kind of think it will. It's showing signs of weakness already. So, you know, hitting that 9MA. But again, for those bring back ups, you kind of do have to pull back hard enough to bring up hard enough. That's when you get all these little triggers for that algorithmic retail trading opportunity for you. So, you know, you gotta really calculate these things in. I need those wipes. I need those wipes for my face. Alright, look how narrow the trading range is. Oh wow. Okay. Very bullish. It did break through 850, so that's actually a very bullish sign. If you break through 852, 853 again, and you keep showing, you know, a little bit more. Okay, 850, getting close. Getting close. 850, 845, 849, 848, 852, 859, 858. This is a very good chance right here. I kind of wish I bought in already. Oh, look at this, 857. It keeps opening up green, green, and green. 856. Wow, okay. So that thing is launching like no tomorrow. actually doesn't have a lot of. If that thing was going, it would have already went. Yeah. It's more of a false breakout. Yeah, I'm glad I sold there. I'm glad I sold there. Again, in this market, I'm trying to be Mr. Right. So I'm trying to get to the bottom of every single one of these little puzzle pieces. Why am I wrong? Why am I right? If you want to make in this field, you have to figure that out. No in between. If you're in between, you won't make it. So this is probably. I don't know how to feel about KSPN. This says it's bullish, but it falling down made a huge incentive for it to, again, act like a rubber band to go back up. And now it may have, like, Elliott wave theory doesn't even play a role in this, I don't think, because of this sell-off. Maybe if you look at the bigger picture, of course, because if you go back, I'm sorry, there we go. Maybe if you look at this, it could, again, go for like a little trading range, or maybe tomorrow it might go for a third run, which I think that could be a very good possibility. I actually think that's what's going to happen. 50 minutes says it's completely dead. 4 hours says it's completely dead. 5 minutes says it's in that consolidation range. So, really good to know a perspective from every single trend. Yeah, no. It's dead. So, oh wow. PLRX, which I was so bullish about in the morning, like tanked. And I guess that's because it shot up, 135, 150% yesterday, intraday. So, that's massive. That's too much for a stock. It's got to pull back. I just didn't think it would pull back 12%. All right. So KSBN, I do have to watch that tomorrow. Definitely have to watch that tomorrow. I might call it quits because it does kind of look like everything's kind of coming back to reality in terms of where the market wants to bring things, or where just stocks in general are going. No real incentive for me personally to keep going. Today, everything feels more risky than I feel is necessary for me to want to hop on it in terms of my trading ability. So I don't want to really. I feel like there's a higher chance of me losing today being bearish today than being bullish. So, just based off how the whole market is working, how everything's kind of pulling back relatively at the same time, even with some catalyst stocks, it's not worth it. Just straight up not worth it. GLSI, let's see where you went. Again, you fell below that. Went below the 9MA. Let's see where you went, even right here. Yeah, fell kind of dead. Let's see where PLRX went, just in terms of my little bounce off theories. My little, I guess some people would call it, crackhead theories, or whatever you want to call it. Theories that, whether you believe in or not. So this bounced off at 200 MA. So that's why it stopped here. Okay, I can see that. And it didn't breach past that median range. Is this more of a placebo effect I'm establishing right here? Because this is at 430 is where I drew the line. We're up 428, okay. 434, 438. 438 had to do with the 9MA, but this one specifically at 434. Let me go back. Is that the median range I actually should have plotted at? Okay, so that's this one, right? No. That's this one, right? Yeah, that's this one. So is this at the right plot or not? Let me see where this actually is. Correct this bar. 426, 490, or 2126, 2192, 2123, and 2159. And where is this currently? 23, 59, 92, 26. 23, 26. So I just have to remember 23 and 26. Okay. 23 and 26. 23 and 26. Okay. No, I didn't really go anywhere with this. This says 35, so of course it plays it. Yeah, more recent support and resistance. That can make sense. It's very bullish right now because you have a lot of... I don't know if this would be specifically day traders or what, but they bought in from that 9MA, or passing that 200 MA. And this was at 710, not 717. Oh wait, actually yes it was. Yeah, wait. Let's go back. Let's go back at this. I want to figure this out. Why did so many people buy here? From everything I've read, like on books, everything, everyone's been. So what? Where? 2025, 2015, 2011, 2025, 2015, 2011. Oh, so they had confirmation. Okay, that makes sense. So this is either retail traders or algorithmic traders, kind of like just going based off that second candle opening at the same exact. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, I understand that now. And that was instantly a 30-cent move. Wow, that's actually really nuts. So if you bought 1,000 shares, you could make $300. Wow, that's insane. That's nuts. Alright, I better call it quits. Seems like everything's kind of going on a steady downward trend. Everything's kind of just bouncing back off support, resistance, and whatever you want to call it. I mean, you tell me about how accurate my little support, resistance, whatever you want to call it is. It's not 100% accurate, of course, but I think it's 80% accurate to 90. No, probably 80, more realistically. So, I don't know. I'm very, 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 very bullish about this strategy that I'm slowly getting into. So, we only made, what, 25 plus 9, that's, what, $34 today? Nothing exciting, but definitely noteworthy to, I guess it's just another green day, so that's good. I'm doing something right. That's what I want. I'm here to learn, I'm here to get better at trading, and hopefully approach this in my later years as more of a black box approach of going based off different uh, data mining techniques. So I eventually will become one of these bots. That's my objective, to go to the bot life, or at least a long term. I think day trading, in terms of a retail perspective, in terms of the average human, will always exist, and you can always make money in it. Because even if algorithmic trading exists, they're going to think at the end of the day just like you. You know, despite chess beating the world's best chess player at some point, um, he was still able to keep running. Um, and, you know, they say don't play. A human can't play a machine's game. But I feel as though when it comes to trading, because it's a community based effort, it's not a singularity, it's not one single person going against you. It's a group, it's two group of individuals, two groups of bots going against each other. So you're figuring, and at the end of the day, they're both winning. It's not just one or the other. They're both winning. Because you got longs and you got the shorts. And they're both winning. And a day trader is kind of in between going long and going short. And they're in between those two bots. So in my opinion, theoretically, because the market has never really changed in the last 100 years in terms of how people, in terms of how traders trade, it will always be the same exact way to this day. I mean, look at that 50-minute. You know, if I were to go into DJI and SP 500, I'm so confident that these trend lines, these different, the Fibonacci rules, as well as 3 to 5 wave principle, has always existed ever since the market came into existence. And those same fundamentals will never change. Ever. Ever. So, that's why I'm so bullish, or I'm so passionate about this career. It's because it's just a puzzle piece. And those who solve it make it. And those who don't watch it and fail. So some will say it's a fool's man game. Others will say it's only the smart individuals can make it. But I personally think the average Joe can make it in this field relatively easily if they just put enough time and effort into solving these small little puzzle pieces that will keep progressing them into gradually becoming better and better as a trader. So, I'll just take a very, 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 very quick little, let's do DJI. Yeah, let's do Dow Jones trends, support and resistance. I know I'm spelling resistance wrong, but I don't care. Let's say 1920s. Has all of these trends, existed? If you were to kind of have like this isn't what I was looking. Oh, here we go. I mean, this is back in 1920s, 1932s. It's just a trend. That's all it is. And in a growing economy, I mean, look at this. This is back in the 1900s. One, two, three. Like, this is for gold, so I can't really. I feel like just based on this, it says that gold shouldn't really go any higher. Maybe it might reach to. It seems like it's kind of reached its maximum already. So going based off the previous stuff, but alright, you kind of seeing what I mean, right? You kind of see where I'm getting at. This isn't really good, a really great example, but this isn't really a great example. Let's see, okay, how about this? Technical analysis, tech. Because I've been reading, you don't really see this too often. People going back in time just drawing these really basic lines. Just drawing these lines. But overall, when trends break, that's like, what the heck is this? See, I think this is definitely more of a too many, definitely more of way too many indicators going on. So that could give you a counterintuitive approach, or a counterintuitive. Just kind of a who was it? Who the heck was it? It was like, I'll be something. I'll be whatever something. And it was the best technical trader of all time. It was these two traders I read into. And I even downloaded the book. Let me see if I can find it in search history. Before I call it quits on the day, let me look into this. This will be my very last thing that I'll look into, and then I'll shut up. Was it this? By Taylor Francis. I don't think that was it. Is it Robert D. Edwards? I think that was it. I think that was his name. Robert D. Edwards. Edwards. And it was someone else. It was two people. Okay, yeah. This was the author who quoted the two individual traders. So so it's not Robert D. Edwards, it's McGay. That's it. McGay. That's it. That's what I'm looking for. John McGay. I believe that's Jonathan McGay. American Priestess. Yes. Is that how you spell it? John McGee? Trader. Let's do Dow. Or DJI. John Dow Jones. Can't find it. I have to have two of them. I have to have both the names for it to pop up. Yeah. But anyway, I've been this is the book I've been reading, and it kind of woke me up that the market is always going to be the same. Sure, it changes every now and then, but at the end of the day, it still goes based off stock trends, um, just basic technical analysis, and it's really just amazing how accurate it is because it's just I don't know how to express it. It's just it's kind of I know it's kind of like I don't know. It's solving the mystery of the market, in my opinion. Solving this big thing that everyone's been wondering. You know, is the market really gambling, or you know, I don't know. It's just at the end of the day, when it comes to trading being as like a lifelong career, that kind of just confirms my that just confirms everything in my opinion. It's just so amazing how I have that confirmation because that kind of rewired me to think, you know, that definitely kind of rewired the way I think about the way I've been thinking about trading it. It's definitely not going anywhere. With bots or not, it's not the same principles and fundamentals that have always existed will always exist. The same rules and principles I apply when it comes to the support and resistance marks will always exist. And that's why I'm so passionate about trading, because it's just, at the end of the day, it's just solving these small little puzzles. It's not, and you're solving these puzzles throughout your lifetime. So you don't have to solve it all at once. That's ludicrous. But solving it slowly, day in and day out, is just what ultimately is what keeps me going. It's just learning more and more and more information to progress myself in this field. It's just absolutely amazing. I'm wondering if I should start trading around, get up at 3:50 a.m. and start trading around there. I might try and go back. Okay, so my objective is to definitely, throughout this week, set up a trade ideas platform to where it trades, or I'm sorry, to where it scans pre-market activity between 1 a.m. all the way until 3:50 a.m. and look for clues. Look for, these huge binds that are being bought in from bigger fish or whatever you want to call it, and potentially go on that, because pre-market. Let me back this up. Does pre-market Does pre-market halt? I guess that makes sense. Pre-market trading is typically trading halt will drop occurs before 325 or after 325. Okay. The candle. I know Hoff is up here somewhere. Alright. I remember playing it down here at the back of my mind. Oh, it's not. I might have taken it off, actually. I will look at Hoff. Should be Number one, Bullsman Gold here, but hey, I'm just studying it. Oh wow, so wow, that's actually very bullish already. Yeah, it's just very, very interesting um, how the whole fundamental of how the market works is just it's not a none of this is gambling, in my opinion. If you have a thesis or if you have a strategy to back it up, it's not a gamble, especially if you go based off. Going to, okay, how do I explain it? If you go to Vegas, you are literally relying on probability of decks that are potentially jeopardized or potentially, not jeopardized, but potentially manipulated by a casino. The end goal of a casino is to make money. So immediately when you walk in, you are just another customer that they just see a walking money sign. It's just like going into doing trading. I'm sorry, not trading, but going to one of those lotto things, lottery tickets that you get from a 7-Eleven. It that to me is straight up gambling. The odds are so far against you, and you're putting in a small amount of money to make a massive change in that you think that you would hope that would eventually work out. But the difference between day traders and gamblers is that we're taking small profits off the table. And that's the real difference here. We're not trying to go from 0 to 60 or from 0 miles an hour to 60 miles an hour within a second. We're gradually going up there. This isn't a game of being quick, it's a game of steadily gaining speed. That's what your account is. And that's why I treasure my account so much of taking these small gains. Because I know over time, those gains will get larger and the losses will get larger as well. But if I'm right most of the time, and I have a thesis or analogy or stuff to back up my rationale through buying a stock, there is nothing stopping me from being right. But if you go and play poker, I totally believe that people who play poker have a strategy behind them. But in terms of their probability of winning, it's way less than someone who does trading, because you don't have any real world techniques to go based off of. You don't have any fundamental techniques to go based off of, and it's not a community based. Wow, look at that sell off at the $1. It's kind of interesting, but I don't think that means anything. It's just really interesting to me, because yeah, you got all these poker faces and this, that, whatever, and all that other crap. But in reality, wait, let me look at this. Did they sell off at $1? Oh, that was share size. Oh, I'm stupid. Yeah, it's just so amazing. Just to me, a gambler is someone who wants to make as much money as they can in a short amount of time, and that's simply not the goal as a day trader. As a day trader, you have rules. You have rules set in place to set the boundaries of going into the abyss of blowing up your account within seconds. You have rules in place. You have stop losses. You have mental stop losses. You have physical stop losses. You know all these different things. But when it comes to poker, you don't have that. You don't have any of that. You go to a slot machine. You're going based off a computer-based algorithmic crap. You're literally gambling, and it's all against you. But in trading, it's a two-way system. You've got algorithms going up and algorithms going down, as well as algorithms just steadily in one place that are going both ways. It's all there. It's all there. So you're literally just moving with those algorithms. That's why I'm so passionate about trading, is because you're just moving with the community, and you have a thesis, and you have different technicals, different standpoints to where you could go and trade based off those different technicals. You have a theory to back it up. You have a hypothesis to back it up. Yeah, sure, gamblers could say that, but they're never always going to be right. They're never going to have consistency of being right. Yeah, sure, they may be. You know what? Let's look that up. A gambler's consistency in poker. Let's just look at that. Not 7 tips. I want to see how profitable are you when it comes to. There's not really a successful way, because of course odds are. Yeah, you could go based off counting cards, of course, but. I like to think of poker as being one of the closest things to trading. It's, I personally am very interested. I never play poker. I'll play it with my family, but that's it. I've never even gambled once in my life. I've never gone to a penny slot. I've never gone to a casino table. I've never done any of those things. I've always watched it, and I've always been kind of like amazed at how people will use their earnings that they work hours for to blow off on casinos when the odds are, of course, against you. But that's the same thing with day trading. Day traders, 90% of day traders fail. But after, for some traders, the average trader before they start being profitable is about a year. So the reason why I've been holding on.
Good, Anakin. Good.
Whoopsie, I did not mean to bring that up. My apologies. I love Meat Crayon. I hope I don't get copyright strike on that. I was to say, yeah. When it comes to day trading, you have rules set in place, but when it comes to something that's more of a casino, you don't have these rules. The average gambler goes in there thinking, you know what, I'm not going to have a profit, I'm not going to take my profit once I reach this point, and I'm not going to stop when I reach this point. I'm just going to keep on going if I go past this point. I'm going to keep on doubling down if I go past this point. That's gambling. If you double down past your losing streak, you're gambling. You're going based off emotion. You're going based off all these different human fundamentals that we tend to overlook. Because, of course, we're being driven by our own psyche or emotion. So it's really just everything about all of this is just an emotion-driven game. And once you master these emotions, in terms of what's stopping you, not a lot. So that's why I'm so passionate about trading, is because, you know, if, in theory, if you have rules set in place, you should be fine. But as soon as you break out of those rules, it's when you start going into the deep end, and usually past that deep end, the likelihood of getting out is slim, so that's why you cut off once you hit that deep end. That's why you stop trading, whether it's for a week, whether it's for a month, just for you to regain your thoughts, regain your overall mentality. You know, why was I losing past this point? Why was I winning up to this point? And you take those all under consideration, and that's why I love trading. It's 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 a science. It's science. It's an art, and there's math behind it. So, when it comes to gambling, there's, yes, in terms of poker, and only poker, in my opinion, there is a science. No, in terms of poker and Texas Hold'em. Anything card related, I can't say that there is math behind it because you can't count cards. But that's kind of all you can really go based off of in terms of an actual logical sense. Yeah, sure, you could go based off, oh, poker face, oh, this, oh, that. But that doesn't work. That doesn't work. In my opinion, that doesn't work. Yeah, some people have mastered that. But the odds for the average Joe mastering that is very slim. And so that's why, again, I'm so passionate about tradings because, again, once you solve these little puzzle pieces, it's all connected to a bigger puzzle, and you're just solving smaller puzzle pieces, and it all makes sense. It all makes sense. It all makes sense. If I spoke to someone who was born in the 1950s, 1940s, 1930s, 1960s, 70s, 80s, maybe 1990s, you know, those who didn't really have the internet, they were kind of forced to go based off kind of their parents' intuition when it comes to the market, never based upon what others can say because they've never had access to the internet. They've only had access to their local library or maybe their local school. And I feel as though that's why I can make it as a trader, is because I have access to this network of information, this network of similar like-minded individuals to where I can learn from them. Yeah, sure, you can't say that when it comes to poker or whatever. You know, you can say that, but I just don't think the same winning stats will apply from from trading to that gambling. You won't get the same winning statistics. For some you will, but it's the same thing for day traders. Some you will, but most you won't. Same thing for poker. Most you won't. So very, very, very much a double-edged sword, but I'm still very, 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 very uptight about everything that I've spoke about, because in my opinion, it's definitely kind of an ideology that I've learned to accept overall in my, like, this is a great, I mean, look at this. This looks so, I mean, if you were to draw, I'll just do this here just because I'm kind of, just from a learning perspective, just so I can learn again, you know, just basic trends. Let's start here and then stretch it accordingly. Here we go. I don't know if I could really do that. I don't know what to think about that. I don't know if that could be actually accurate or not. Wait. I mean, can I extend this? Can I just extend to the left? Extend. If I extend that. Ah! I mean, yeah, you can do that, but that's that could tell you the trend line, or at least this section. Yeah, that can tell you a trend line. You could use that as kind of like a view app. There you go. You could use that as. You could use this as your incentive for the potential value of a stock. This little trend line. Yeah, you could do that. You can never do that in gambling. You can never do that. So, very, very interesting. It's just so interesting how you could potentially figure all these little puzzle pieces out, and yet there's still so many individuals out there who say, what you're doing is gambling, it's a fool's man's game. Because I personally don't see it, because there's different things to go based off of. And there's different rules set in place to prevent you from going off into the deep end. And hopefully my history when it comes to trading kind of proves that, in a sense, that, I could have a green streak, and then I could have a red streak. That's just the way it works. But as those red streaks happen, you twist and you turn your different strategies to morph with those streaks to hopefully adapt to the ever-changing market, or quote ever-changing market, when it's still the basic fundamentals. However, of course it's still ever-changing. We've never had as many traders in the market ever since 2020. The little short squeeze saga kind of was the revolutionary spark for the retail traders to get, or retail investors to get into trading. So, I just think, what the heck is this? So yeah, I'm definitely gonna call it quits. Nothing really sharps. Is this Sharp TV? It looks like they might have been bought out. So I kind of like a bought out, or maybe they bought something. So some big move. Sharp declines to be acquired by affiliate of see, they're being acquired. To be so there you go, that's why it moved. So you got all these different fundamentals that you could go based off, and that's why I really love trading, because those fundamentals will always exist. You've got technical fundamentals, and you've got pure fundamentals like news, and you got technical fundamentals such as EMA, 9EMA, whatever, VWAP, all these different things. So, but yeah, so I'm up 34 in the day. Nothing nuts, nothing too wow about, but again, being right is ultimately my goal here. So let's just go with that. So yeah, so it was great recording, great doing my stuff, great doing my thing, and I will see you guys tomorrow. I shouldn't have any dreams or weird dreams, so I should be fully alert tomorrow. Hopefully like today. Alright? Take care.